Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. If you're going after a beautiful vision, a big, audacious goal, something that you truly desire, you're going to need faith and you're going to have to develop a belief that is bigger than the outside evidence. Someone once defined faith as believing in spite of the evidence that indicates failure. Bob Proctor tells a story that he had a friend who had his business all but wiped out by a theft, which cleaned out his inventory. Through some oversight, his insurance did not cover the stock, leaving him with an empty warehouse. The local newspapers carried a lengthy article detailing the dilemma, stating that he was virtually out of business. You must admit the evidence of being totally wiped out is pretty overwhelming. But that's not what happened in Bob Proctor's friend's mind. His attitude is, this is the way I started, and I will start the very same way again. That condition would have driven many people away, but that guy's faith was much stronger than the evidence. What about you? Is there evidence in your life holding you back from going ahead, from starting over? It would be impossible to estimate the number of people who are held back because they allow the evidence to overwhelm them. Do you know you could easily recount the number of people who were once faced with impossible odds and succeeded because of one single piece of evidence in their favor? Faith. They would have done it no matter how great the odds were against them. These people felt it would be better to try and not succeed than to not try at all. And this explosive power of faith in oneself has a domino effect. It knocks over any number of obstacles and picks up momentum as it moves ahead. Bob Proctor's friend and his partner proved that all of us are bigger than the evidence that indicates failure. What about you? Are you willing to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move ahead in spite of some of the challenges and barriers and obstacles? You can prove this to yourself when you decide to move forward one obstacle at a time, and with a strong faith, you will increase the possibility of winning. We can let circumstances rule us, or we can take charge and learn how to rule our lives from within. There are countless stories of people who had great purpose and high ideals who worked toward and reached incredible goals. Time after time, these people came up against obstacles or circumstances that would destroy the average person. They might have found themselves in situations that appeared devastating. Maybe they lost fortunes or loved ones or had to battle some great physical problem, but they never appeared to waver. It seemed as if nothing could stop them. History books are filled with examples of sports or people who seem to be giants, but average people. What made these people great was their faith, their belief. It was unshakable. No one and nothing could disturb or destroy their faith. Bob Proctor says it could very easily appear as if some emotional or capricious God had singled out, reached out to, and touched these individuals and caused them to do such great things. But everyone, including you, has been touched, blessed, endowed with these same tools. You must develop a belief or a faith based on understanding, just as these people did for themselves. Their faith was not blind. Their faith had a strong foundation based on understanding. Often these people are referred to as spiritual people, and it's not difficult for them to believe or have faith because they know that they can do whatever they visualize. They know they are dynamic, creative beings, but so are you. Faith is a knowledge within the heart beyond the reach of proof. Faith indeed tells what the senses do not tell, but not the contrary of what they see. It is above them and not contrary to them. Mankind is made by his belief. As he believes, so is he. Bob Proctor says, when you believe something, it stays with you wherever you go. You cherish your beliefs and you often go to great lengths to defend them wherever they are challenged. What do you believe about yourself? If you're like most people, you probably believe that you're 10 pounds overweight, or maybe that you should have stayed in school, or maybe should have paid more attention to your parents' advice, or maybe that you're too old to start something new. The list of beliefs goes on and on. The vast majority of people believe fairly negative concepts about themselves. They know or understand very little about themselves, how beautiful and powerful they truly are. You should have good and sound reasons for all of your beliefs. Do you know that most, if not all, of your false beliefs that you hold were picked up when you were a child and you never questioned them? And then they become excuses to justify poor performance. Negative beliefs are a useless, non-productive waste of mental and physical energy. Around the turn of the last century, William James said, "Believe, and your belief will create the fact." If you hold negative beliefs about yourself, you can be sure that your results will prove you right. But clearly understand that the opposite is also true. When you hold powerful, positive beliefs about yourself, your results will reflect how accurate your beliefs are. If you're not happy with the way your life is going, start to question your beliefs. Get a good book or an audio program and learn many of the beautiful truths about yourself. You will find that studying the positive aspects of yourself will be an exciting adventure, and you will be openly rewarded for the time and effort you put into this project. As your confidence grows, so does your capacity. No person has the right to dictate what another person should perceive, create, or produce. But everyone should be encouraged to reveal themselves, their own perceptions and emotions, and to build confidence in the creative spirit. You are a creative being. You have been created in the image of God, and you are co-creating your life with the infinite intelligence. Bob Proctor taught me that we are a triune human being. He would say, you only are partly a physical body. It's like your costume, your mask. It's what you're walking around in. It's the physical instrument, but your mind is so powerful. You can tap into the energy that is always available, universal energy. You can use your intellect to tap into that power. And being a spiritual being, gifted with an intellect, embodied in a physical representation called your physical body, you get ideas, you have thoughts, you can create a beautiful image. You can decide what you want to bring into this lifetime. What do you want to experience? It's the spiritual side of you that is forever wanting to grow and develop and become more and experience more. As you get relaxed, you can create, you can start to express more. And through your physical body, through your five senses, through what you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, you experience what you believe, what you think. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are creating your results. So if you decide, instead of looking at your results and complaining or thinking that's all that's possible, what if you allowed yourself to create something more, something bigger, something different? That starts with making a decision about what you really want. How would you like to feel? Most people say, I just want to be happy. Well, what does being in the state of happiness feel like? Where is a time that you've been happy in your life that you can go back into that memory, or think about something that you would like to have in the future? What would that be? Why would it make you happy? How would that feel if you were to possess that item, live in that place, experience that love, respect, joy, freedom, happiness? What would that feel like? How would you describe it? What does it mean to you to be happy? When you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. The way you think, the energy of your feelings and your behaviors, the actions that you take, the things that you do, all contribute to what shows up in your life as experiences, as circumstances and conditions, outcomes, results. Rather than looking at what is, you can use your beautiful imagination and start to create something better. Look around the world. How would you change what's going on outside? You don't have to worry about changing what's going on in the outside. When you change how you feel about you, how you feel about life, how you act toward other people, how you act in this world, going after something that you truly desire. It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter what other people's opinions are. If you develop the faith, the understanding, the belief that you can have what you really want, you start acting as if you already have that state of being happy, that state of being loved, joyful, wealthy, prosperous, happy, whatever it is that you want. Getting into that feeling of well-being and expressing it, the universe shows you more evidence. Look at how abundant life is. Look at nature around you, the stars. You can't even count them. The blades of grass, the leaves on the trees, the grains of sand. Everything is available for your enjoyment, for you to make use of, for you to invent something better. Bob Proctor talks about changing your self-image, getting a new you. And he said, in today's world of self-help seminars, books, and audios, there's a lot of talk about self-help. We've always talked to ourselves, but until recently, you very rarely heard people openly admit that they talk to themselves. That used to be considered a sign of mental instability. But now people realize that we're always talking to ourselves. You're hearing voices in your head, maybe 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day popping in there. If you want to have a beautiful life, if you want to develop faith, if you want to win, positive self-talk will keep you moving in the direction of your goal. Successful people generally think and feel positively about themselves. They translate these feelings and thoughts into powerful words and phrases, creating a stream of self-talk that helps them become or continue to be successful. The positive self-talk then translates into the action that produces the results that they desire. Begin today to be your own best friend, your best supporter. When you talk to yourself, select words that describe your positive qualities and characteristics. Talk about the good, not the bad. Talk about your successes, not your failures. Talk about the accomplishments of each day rather than what you didn't complete. Talk to yourself about how you can as opposed to why you can't. As you adopt and practice this process and make it a daily ritual, you will begin to experience a new you. The language you use in positive self-talk will create a new reality. Your perception of who you are and what your value is with respect to your business, your family, your community, it will change in your mind. This chain of new positive thought introduces a different thought pattern. Ultimately, through daily practice of positive self-talk, you will achieve greater results. you'll be amazed at how quickly you'll notice a much more vibrant, healthy, happy you. Nothing builds self-esteem and self-confidence like accomplishment. Here's an exercise you could try. Write down a victory log. Log all the things that you have been victorious over in your life. Maybe you won a spelling bee in grade 2. Maybe you're excited about learning how to ride a bicycle, climb a mountain, run a marathon, learn how to bake pies and make the perfect crust. You've overcome all kinds of obstacles in the past. Nothing builds self-esteem and self-confidence like accomplishment. What are you proud of in your life? Write down some of the things that you've done. Maybe you've studied and got your master's degree. Maybe you started a business. Maybe you started as a little kid building cub cars in scouts or lemonade stands. Or you've become a great artist. What are you proud of? Start writing some of these things down. Now, the things that you've accomplished in the past are only a fraction of what you're capable of doing. Self-image sets the boundaries of individual accomplishment. And if you do not conquer yourself, you will be conquered by yourself. And that means there are times where people have told you that what you did wasn't good enough, or you thought you had to be perfect before you could start something. The key is to start. Just take action. Know what you really want. And see if you can do one thing today that takes you towards accomplishing a big goal. Just one baby step. If you knew what you needed to do, what would you be doing today? If you had already attained your next big goal, something that you want to accomplish in your life, it's already done. What's one thing that you did to get there? Write it down. As you're writing, you'll start to think. As you think, ideas will come to you, and pretty soon that pen will seem to be moving on the page all by itself. You start with writing, I am so happy and grateful. Write down some of the things you're proud of, some things you've already accomplished in your life, a victory log, and then some things that you would really love to accomplish in your lifetime. Something you want to do today, something you want to do someday, something you want to be known for. What kind of a legacy would you like to leave? As you start writing all the positive things and talking about all the great things you've done and been and had, and all the things that you want to do and be, it just takes starting to write, starting to decide, what do you love? What do you want? What makes you happy? Write down some positive words that go along with that. I am so happy and grateful now that I am happy, I am healthy, I am active, I am free, I am loved, I am respected. Talk to yourself all day long about how wonderful life is, and the universe will start to show you evidence. It will show you things that match your language, your words, your thoughts, your energy, and your actions. Have faith that whatever it is you want, you write it down, you think about it, you start to act on that. You can create anything that your heart desires. Write it out and start thinking about what it's like to be there. Don't worry about how it could happen. The universe will take care of that. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Create a wonderful day. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you.